Then we'll move on and go up to Inari, up north to the studio or kitchen maybe of jewelry artist Ami Avellán. Ami has taken part in Konstrundan several times, and for the last 2 years she has been our regional contact for northern Finland. Ami, what does Konstrundan mean to you? Now we.
Really nice thing. I hope you can hear me well. Is that okay now? Good. Yes, it's an important thing. I was participating the first time down south in Ekenäs, Tammisaari, while I was a teacher there, and I think this is was already at that point such a well-working thing that I wanted to have it also here when I moved to Inari years later. And I think it is really nice. I'm one of those who do not have so many visits. But on the other hand, those who come, they sit for a long time. We have nice talks. They are very interested in art in general, in Konstrundan, and also in my work with mostly silver jewelry. So I find it very, very nice. This is it's every year in my calendar, so okay. And when you meet these people that are really authentically interested in what you do, that is really meaningful for the artists, especially fun. I think it is that very many of those who meet me here up north, they come because in September we have the really nice autumn colors up here, the ruska. And so it is really beautiful, and sometimes these groups of ladies come directly from their forest walk here, and they really appreciate this combo with beautiful nature and the culture, and also the thing that you can now see behind the scene. You come into my home, like you are now part of my and in the back, and so it's personal, and that is a very good thing, I think. And yeah, all in all, I think it's really interesting, and I'm really happy that we have also, as Konstrundan now, we are in the whole of the country, from Nuorgam has been the northernmost place, and that is the northernmost place, and I think that is very nice. And also people from abroad come and have a look and find it. So, yes. Was that maybe? We had.
I was going to ask, have you had visitors contact you, or people contact you also outside of Konstrundan at other times and come and visit you?
Yes, I even got from the Konstrundan newspaper, there was a phone call, was it last year, that hello, I saw you in the newspaper of Konstrundan. I think we are related. I live down here in south of Finland. How come do you have this surname? It's
okay.
Lots of
but that was
that
was not a customer yet, at least. But
no,
maybe.
But interesting things do happen, and yes, of course, people do contact you afterwards, and I think it's really nice that you can also go in the archives and look who has been. If you remember, you were traveling somewhere, for example, in Lapland 3 years ago, and you visited a place, then who was that? You maybe don't remember the name, but you can look in our archives and find this person, and I find it very nice. And for this very small amount of money, you get a huge visibility all over the country. And also I've been studying in Sweden, and people from there are like totally amazed that, oh, you have the whole country at once. There they have like smaller regions like Skåne or something. So I think it is, all in all, very nice happening.
Okay, we'll move on, and next up is Anne, our new secretary. She will talk about the application form and how to go about with that.
Hello, yes, my name is Anne Johansson Padilla, and I'm the new secretary of Konstrundan from the beginning of this year. I also want to welcome you to this info meeting. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the application to Konstrundan this year. The application is open until February the 20th. And you can go to www.konstrundan.fi/apply. You probably will find it there. Before you open the application form, you have to prepare for a couple of things. You have to write a short text about yourself and your art. You have to update your CV, describe your education and your professional experience clearly. And you have to prepare 5 pictures. Choose the pictures that will be published in the newspaper with care. Choose pictures that show your workspace and what you work with. It's important that the visitors get a good idea of what they can expect from visiting you. Note that you have to own the rights to the pictures you send us, as there is limited space in the newspaper and therefore we cannot print the name of the photographer. Please note also that the jury is not familiar with applications from previous years. So that's why it's important to include all necessary and relevant information in your application. The criteria for an accepted application are that you are a professional artist, artisan, or designer. Professional is here defined as applicant has adequate education in his or her specific field or has experience corresponding to relevant education, and that applicant is active in his or her field only. For example, a full-time or part-time entrepreneur. Active means that the applicant is selling art or products showing in exhibitions and similar events. The jury's assessment criteria are based on the following. Submitted application clearly states how the applicant will present his or her work, including the creative process in the studio for visitors to see. Visual material, curriculum, education, experience, and professional activities. One of Konstrundan's goals is to strengthen opportunities for creative professionals to make a living from their work. Please note that the jury is not familiar with applications from previous years. That's why it's important to include all necessary and relevant information in your application. And about the application form for Konstrundan 2023, when you have filled out all the mandatory fields with the red text on the first page of the application, and you press continue, you get an email. In the confirmation email, there is a link through which you can make changes in your application later. It is important that you fill out all the pages of the application and pay the application fee of 20 euros by the application deadline. Incomplete applications will not be considered. The application fee has been introduced to cover part of the administrative costs of Konstrundan. You get payment instructions after you have submitted your application. Before sending the application to us, please check your text, check your CV, check your photos, write clearly and short. And maybe you ask, why should you participate in Konstrundan? Konstrundan in Finland has been arranged annually since 2008. And Konstrundan gives you positive visibility and an opportunity for new potential customers, as well as many interesting conversations with the visitors. By participating in Konstrundan, you will get your own page on konstrundan.fi, and you will be presented in the events newspaper and get free promotional material and visibility. In 2022, we had around 450 participants and more than 28,000 visitors during the weekend of Konstrundan. Konstrundan gives you visibility all over the country. Welcome to apply to this year's Konstrundan. And remember to submit your application with the set time frame no later than Monday, the 20th of February. And feel free to contact us if you have any questions. We will try to help. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anne. Any questions now from Emma or Ward?
Yes, I do have a question. This is Ward.
Please go ahead.
I understand the committee does not have access to last year's applications, but can we have access to our application from last year?
No, unfortunately not, because we don't have them anymore. We have the text that you have had in your profile should be, but that's only the information about you as an artist, should be in our archive. Now I'm not sure if it's in all languages or only, I have to check that.
That's what I'm looking for, the text, because I'm submitting for the group, and I'm not sure exactly what was written last year by the professional who's really the primary in this.
We have stated that groups should, or we don't accept group applications due to many reasons. So each person should hand in their own application, and that's what is active right now. We have got a few questions about this recently. We have not had time to discuss this yet in our group, so I cannot I cannot say anything if group applications will be possible again, but at the moment individual applications my English is gone. You should hand in your own application. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand. I'm just an apprentice and I'm just doing the work for the professional.
Okay, yeah. If you go to our website and in the menu you find About Konstrundan, there is a link to the archive. There you will see what has been handed in briefly, and if you don't find what you need, please contact me directly and I will check with the website organization if they do have something, but I doubt that.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Hello. My name is Kirsi Väkiparta. I'm the special advisor at the Arts Promotion Center Finland, or Taike as we call it. And I've been asked to say a couple of words about Taike's grants. Firstly, about us. The Arts Promotion Center Finland, or Taike, is an expert and service agency under the Ministry of Education and Culture. Our mission is to promote the arts and culture in Finland and also internationally. We award grants prizes and subsidies to professional artists and art organizations. And what we award is the money comes from national budget funds and lottery funds. In 2021, we awarded 45 million euros in grants, prizes and subsidies. And every year we receive approximately 14,000 applications. And for evaluating the applications, we have peer reviewers, artists and art experts that sit in arts councils, boards, panels and so on. We have two kinds of grants in Taiteen: working grants and project grants. So with working grant we mean grants that are time-based, so you get a 6-month or 1-year time for working with your art professionally, professional artists' work. And then we have project grants that are meant for costs of a certain project for implementing an individual project. This difference is good to realize when thinking of, because we have very many different kinds of grants, so it makes it easier when you understand this difference. Let's look first at our working grants. There are 4 different types grants that I list here. At the moment, it's possible to make application for the first 2, the public display grants and the library grants. Public display grants are meant for visual artists that show their work publicly. It's not only for painters and sculptors and so on. You can also be a designer or a media artist. Important is that you have exhibitions or your work can be shown publicly. And library grants are meant for writers and translators, and both of these are kind of short working grants, we call them. So public display grants is for working 6 months and library grants from 4 to 8 months. And the sum is depending on how many months, how long period of time you are working. It's approximately 2,000 euros per month. So 6 months is 12,000 euros. And then what we have a little bit later this year, you can apply in February, March, you can apply for regional working grants. It's our regional arts councils in all over Finland. There are 13 of these councils that decide on working grants. And these are also short, from 4 to 6 months. And then the most important working grants we have are the state artist grants that are decided by national arts councils from different art fields. And these can be even 5 years long. So you have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year grants. It can also be a 6 months shorter one. And this is like a salary. It's paid monthly. Every month you get 2,000 euros. So this makes like about 24,000 in a year. And application period for these are in March, and the grant period will start the following year. And then if we have a look at the project grants, so they are intended to support the implementation of a project that professional artist or a working group is making. So these project grants can be applied also by working groups formed by a group of professional artists. Application periods for these are in October. So national arts councils evaluate project grants, and then in February, March, also regional project grants exist. So a regional grant can be for a project or for working, both. The minimum amount of these project grants is 2,500 euros. Maximum does not exist, but usually they are under 10,000 euros. Project grants may be used to cover, for example, material costs. You could have an exhibition and you could apply for material costs, production costs of a performance, for example. You can include in the budget also working costs, but it has to be working costs for implementing the project. And then these could be also used for traveling or artist residencies, international mobility. Different kinds of projects are applicable. How to apply for Tigers grants? Important is to study the call for applications carefully. So they are on our webpage, taike.fi. All the important information is written there, so it's important to read it carefully. The application is submitted on our online using our e-services. It's important to reserve sufficient time to fill in the application. If you are there the last day of the application period, you will most probably encounter problems. So be in time, do it in time. You can write your application in English. Our application forms are only in Finnish and Swedish, the official languages, but it is possible to write the application in English. And also the information on our webpage on different grants is also in English. So our webpage is 3 languages, Finnish, Swedish and English. About the content of the application then, think of convincing the decision maker of your competence and your expertise. The people that are evaluating the applications are peers, they are artists or art experts, but still they might not know your work. So be sure that your CV is in order. Include images if you work with visual arts, or links to homepage if you want to give an example of moving image or music or so on. If you have a homepage, it's good. Write your application clearly, make a clear working plan, summarize the main points. The evaluators or people evaluating the applications have to read a lot of applications. So it's important to make a clear and concise application. A good advice can be to answer the questions, simple questions. What I want to do if I get the grant, how, when, where, why, with whom and for whom. Here is an image of our webpage, taike.fi in English. And here you can find all the information, lots of information. And there are also links to our customer service. They give advice by telephone, by email, and even there's a chat service. Thank you. I'm happy to answer questions if there are some.
Thank you, Kirsi. Do you have any tricky questions for Kirsi? No? If not, I would like to thank Kirsi a lot. I think it was good, accurate information about Tigers grants and also good general advice for grant applications. And I would like to share 2 websites with you. One, which I just Googled and found, which is the Aurora tietokanta I talked about. In English, you find it maybe here. You find it at research.fi. And here, just a moment, you find open funding calls And this list, you can search for all grants that are open that you can apply for. You can filter it so it's only culture or arts and so on. That's one site which is good to know. And how do I go about this? And this that's the page is in English, but the information about the grants is in Finnish mostly. Another site which is good to know is fyrk.fi, and that's in Swedish, and the information is mostly in Swedish, but that also lists actual, vad heter det? Open calls, open grants. So if you fill out another grant application, you just follow the same advice and then keep your fingers crossed. That as a brief extra information.